spent a year just with this question. You know, I take it to the forest, I take it to the land, and just sit with this question: what is needed at the moment for humanity? You know, we're at this threshold. Humanity is at this threshold, and you know, everywhere we look around, all the systems are falling apart. You know, the political systems, the financial systems, the environmental systems, our communities, education, poverty. I mean, the list is endless, and we're feeling the way that they're just all kind of, well, they're not working. I know how I'm feeling, and every person I meet, it's like you only have a conversation for 5 minutes and you get the fear that they're feeling, the hopelessness that they're feeling, the anger that they're feeling, the grief that they're feeling about what is happening to our world, and feeling ineffectual to be able to create a world that they want to live in. Based on the fact that we only grieve for what we love, we need to have a space where we can feel what we feel, actually really feel what we feel, without someone fixing us or telling us that we should feel differently, or immediately going into fix-it mode and going, right, well, let's all lobby against the something or other, you know, but actually to allow those feelings to run like a full cycle of autumn, you know, winter, spring, summer, like to let those feelings, can we feel those feelings at the deepest level and hit the bottom of the well, and from there feel what wants to rise up from our love, because that's where our love is in our willingness to feel. And our culture is so anti that. Our culture is so fixed on doing. How can we fix this? How can we do? How can we get out there? And that needs to happen, but it needs to happen from our love. So I went to the forest with this question: well, what could I offer? What is being asked that would facilitate this radical shift that needs to happen in us, in humanity? And what came was a space for people to remember their essence, to remember their sense of their power, to remember what they love, to feel that gratitude for life. So I thought EarthHeart could provide this. It can provide a space for us to just be able to sink into the land and to feel and to express what is going on in our hearts, what's going on in our thoughts, what's going on in our fear, and to have the space to do that and just be received, to be witnessed, say, I hear you, I really hear you, I feel you, and I feel the same. And there's something about knowing that someone else feels the same that kind of gives us strength. So one of the aspects of coming on these weekends is that we get to remember that we're a part of the web of life because we're sitting in a circle of people. And so often, so much of the despair we feel and the fear we feel and the grief we feel is in isolation. It's like we go out into the world each day, we experience it all, and we're kind of like, oh God, there it is on the news all the time. It's infiltrating into our homes, into our TV screens, and we're left on our own with it. It's like we feel this sense of like, I'm just feeling all of this and I don't know what to do with it. And then maybe we go and talk to someone about it and they kind of try to cheer us up, or you get into some heady philosophical debate and it ends up being a bit of an argument about, well, no, global warming isn't happening, or yes it is, or, you know, whatever it might be. And actually all we really want is a space to just be heard and to have our feelings recognised. And the power of having a circle of people see, to have that experience of being seen, and without anyone saying you're right or you're wrong, or you're good or you're bad, but just I see you and I'm with you, I know what you're speaking of, I feel that way too. And I've seen again and again and again, even though being seen is like the thing we're most afraid of, we're terrified of being seen. It's like, oh my God, I don't want to be vulnerable in front of all these people. I don't want to cry in front of these people. I don't want to be angry. But actually, it's the thing we long for the most, because it brings us back to this sense of empowerment, because empowerment comes from a sense of us coming together, like the grass roots, the roots. It's like the trees know that. The trees all talk to each other. The trees support each other. We need to be like a forest, supporting each other and coming together, and that's the power. And it does take courage. It takes courage to sit there and say, this is how I feel and this is what I think and these are my fears. But actually when we do that and we're received in that, immediately we step through a threshold just by our willingness to do that, and suddenly we feel ourselves and we feel our gifts and we feel our sense of, now I've got energy, now I've got life. I've seen people again and again who are sick and feeling tired just suddenly feel this rush of energy moving through their body because they've connected to something. It's like feelings unfelt are like, they're like stagnant water. You know, the water's just not breathing anymore, it's not moving anymore. We built the Earth Lodge, this beautiful Earth Lodge here, and we go into ceremony in there, and we go into the darkness and go into the earth and put our attention on the fire, and we spiral around and just feel, what is this threshold? How does what's happening in humanity out here, this massive threshold that we're on, what's the threshold? What's the radical movement that needs to happen in me to come into alignment with creating a world that I want to be a part of? It's really a space to recognize that what is happening out there is happening in here. And if we want to change what's happening out there, we do have to change what's happening in here. And that isn't not as an escape from ourselves, or let's just go off into la la land and sort of do some spiritual bypassing, but actually to deeply get connected to what is happening in here as a resource, as a strength, as a power to go, right, now nothing can stop me. My love is so fierce, nothing can stop me from going out there in the world and doing those things that I'm scared to do. You know, because I don't have to do them on my own. I've got a whole community of people now who feel the way I do, and another community, and you know, as it spirals out, as people come through these weekends, it's like that community of people just gets wider and wider and stronger. The beautiful thing about these events is it does not matter, you know, what country you come from, what political view you have, what ethnic minority you come from, what gender you identify with or not, how much money you've got, what age you are. It's just about coming together as a circle of human beings and recognizing we as a collective, we are all in this together, and how can we step through? And that's what's so beautiful about it, is because it's not like, oh, where's my tribe, you know, of the people that earn the same salary as me, or the people who've got the same colour skin as me, or who wear the same clothes as me. It's like it doesn't matter. When we come down to it, our human heart is what unites us. And the fact that we're this nature, we just want to find our way back home. So a lot of us kind of feel like we're never giving enough, like we've got to sort of make sure everybody's all right before we can consider our own needs. We're in that whole plight of, you know, what does the world need from me? And then we get burnt out and we go into that sort of sacrificial pleasing. And actually what I've seen again and again is, unless this ecosystem is working well, we haven't got anything to give to others. So it's the fundamental groundwork that this personal journey is the primary one. Having said that, that isn't in isolation to the web of life, that isn't separate from other people. It's like each one of us in that circle needs to be utterly committed and focused on finding their deepest, truest sense of self. And by doing that, there's a natural movement that happens. It's like we cannot find our truest sense of self unless we plug ourselves into the web of life, unless we feel the fact that we are connected.